So we all know what happened this past like week. Got Thursday, we got Friday, we got Saturday, we got all rounds of the draft going on,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and we all Dion fans.
Yep.
And prior to this, we ain't never watched Colorado football.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, we became Colorado fans
Yeah.
2 years ago, and we expecting our boy to get drafted early,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you know, he get what's the word, G. Lou, when you don't get picked in the first round or the second or the third, and you kind of just slide all the way.
You could say he just kind of fell in the draft.
He kind of fell in the
Mm-hmm.
draft, I guess. So how y'all
Ain't no
feel about
kind of fell. He fell. He fell super hard, super intentionally in the draft. We're gonna say he
yeah?
fell intentionally in the draft.
Yeah.
So I feel like we got speculations that the owners did this, or maybe it was the way he interviewed. Honestly, I personally I wasn't in the interview. I watched some of the games, not all of them, but I will say he's a hell of a football player. Got the highest passer rating in college football this year, and he got real good intangibles. And somehow, some way, they kind of just fucked up in the NFL. I don't know, but how y'all feel about it? Was it like a scandal? Was it like intentional? Were the owners out to get him, the coaches out to get him, or was it just he did not perform as well as other quarterbacks, and he did not deserve to go 1, 2, or 3 in the draft?
You want me to start it off, Cuzzo? You want to start it off?
I say let Lucci start it off. He don't even, I mean
Start it
y'all
off,
two. I
Lucci.
say
I
y'all two
mean,
started up since y'all quarterbacks. Like
Okay.
um,
Oh yeah,
from a great quarterback perspective.
This nigga.
Nah, man, you know what I thought about? I thought about this, man. I think sometimes people pay attention to the characteristics of what you do on and off the field. Something that I read about someone saying was they were talking about, I guess he didn't want to do certain practices, or he had a comment that he made long ago about an organization needing them or change the codes, like he wanted to come in and change everything, I guess. And I feel like sometimes we got to really watch what we say. I think it came back, to kind of teach him something, but at the same time, I think he's gonna prevail regardless. But it was shocking to see him going that far in the draft. But I just think it came down to, I mean, I think they want to shoot down his ego. Honestly, got you. It has nothing to do with his production. It has nothing, I think they talked about certain practices or something like that he didn't show up to, or they try to find something other than what he's doing on the field. This motherfucker's like Hercules on the field throwing the ball to everybody, but off the field, they have something else that they want to say about him. And I think that's, from my opinion, I think it was something that was more so to do with his ego rather than his game.
yeah. Okay.
you know,
Okay. What you think,
um,
D-Lu?
I piggyback off of what Keenan said. I'm gonna give my perspective, and I'm gonna play some for y'all for some context, and just to see what you and Hawk got to say about it. But um, I was feeling like they were trying to find. I felt like they tried to find reasons to justify like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've had talks about Sheduer on the podcast before. Always kind of felt like Sheduer is still developing. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it. Sometimes when I talk about people like Sheduer, people might think like, oh, I'm being a hater or something like that. But it's like, no, I think when you got a dad like Deion Sanders, you get a lot of criticism. It's kind of like Bronny James. We talk about Bronny, right? You're gonna get a lot of criticism, and you don't really get the opportunity to develop before you get in judged completely. But that sports in general is just when you're not a hot topic, you know what I'm saying? You can make errors and have mistakes and stuff like that. So because I know that Sheduer has always kind of been in the limelight, always kind of looked at Sheduer as like a first or a second round pick, right? In this draft in particular, I thought Sheduer would have went in the first 2 rounds, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a pretty bad quarterback class. Me and Hawk talked about it. We both pretty much predicted that he would go to the Browns or the Steelers. I know that he thought he was going to the Giants, and we saw that the Giants traded back up into the first round to get Jackson Dart. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen that, I was just kind of like, all right, mind you, like, shout out my father-in-law. He referred to me as like a peacemaker, because I'm always kind of like looking at the hypotheticals, like, all right, well, what if they just felt like they could get him in a later round and they decided they wanted to get a D tackle first? You know what I'm saying? Because that guy might not be there in the second round, and they didn't know he was going to be there, right? But when he dropped to the 5th round, I kind of started taking it personal as a I'm gonna call it what it is. Like as an African American athlete, like we play with a lot of swag. We bring a lot of money to the sports. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why all of the, the players and the rappers and everybody wearing diamond chains. He ain't doing nothing that ain't nobody else doing. You know what I'm saying? So for him to get criticism for him, being a flashy guy and all that, that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing I want to say to it before I pass the mic is, they talk about the brash and the arrogance thing and all that kind of stuff. Despite what a lot of us thought, I think Sheduer Sanders handled himself in a very professional and positive manner. Like you see, he wasn't upset when he got drafted in the 5th round. He celebrated like he got drafted in the 1st round. You know what I'm saying? He did the plunge in the pool like he got drafted in the 1st round. He even made amends with the guy that prank called him. You know what I'm saying? One of the Falcons, one of the coaches for the Falcons' son, prank called Sheduer and act like he was getting drafted. And it was a prank call. And Sheduer got on the phone with the kid and was cool with him still. So it's like, it says a lot about his character. Everybody that, was like, yeah, he deserved that and shit like that. Y'all wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you judging somebody that you ain't never met personally. It's just the image that they put on him. So it's like, I hope that Sheduer does well. I'm a Raider fan. I hope he don't do better than us. No, I'm just kidding. But that sounded really bad. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't hoping the Browns go to the Super Bowl now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, we're not trying to put them up too high. We don't want to put them down. We at all. We don't put them up too high.
Man, last thing I want to say, like I said, I just, I'm a defend, you know what I'm saying, our guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause like Hawk said, that's one of our guys. If y'all don't like Sheduer, then y'all got a problem with a lot of us. Cause he ain't that different from a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? That's confidence, and y'all love that shit. So don't act like y'all don't like confidence. Every great player got confidence. So ain't nothing wrong with being confident. Ain't nothing wrong with in the interview saying, hey man, I'm the guy for this job. And if you hire me, I'm gonna take y'all to the next level. That's not arrogance. That's not brash. That's called confidence. So I'm gonna pass the mic. Before I pass it, I want y'all to hear this and tell me what y'all think. All right.
What's up?
This is from Stephen A. Man. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. He said,
I knew his career in the NFL was over.
He's talking about Kaepernick right here, bro. Matter of fact, hold on. He said,
a lot of this was about primetime Deion Sanders. Yeah. Say whatever you want to the audience out there, to these idiotic trolls all over social media talking about, Sheduer Sanders wasn't that great or whatever. There is no one, I repeat, no one that looked at Sheduer Sanders and even had him less than the 3rd best quarterback in the draft.
But then he said this.
Sheduer Sanders' hands are not clean on this. If you go into an interview and people thinking that you brash and arrogant and what have you, and they think that they're going to have a problem working with you, that's partially on you. Primetime Deion Sanders going out publicly and stating on the record, there's a couple of teams we might not want him with. And he ain't going there if we going to get him, if they're going to select him. Sheduer Sanders, hands.
So I don't know what y'all think about that. He pretty much saying that.
I agree with what he's saying. It's just coming from like Stephen A. is a smart dude.
Yeah.
And it's like he wants people to take the smartest way out every time. But it's like not everybody is just going to take the smart black man role. Some people are going to take the role where it's like, I'm standing on what I'm doing. I'm standing on what I believe in. Yeah. And I'm standing on the fact like, yeah, I'm not going to take the smart road out, but I am still going to be myself. And myself isn't a bad person. Yeah. And it's like, I think like, yeah, Sheduer's flashy. Yeah, Sheduer's doing things that is agitating people, especially with my dad taking these kind of leaps and bounds as a father, as a coach, and just doing things inside the NCAA realms. And it's really just timing with Deion more so than anything. He's not doing anything more than what the game is allowing Deion Sanders to do. It's just the timing with the NIL and a bunch of different things. He's able to do more than what coach has done in the past. And he black. Like it is against Deion. And he is probably making it worse for himself. But at the same time, I think I think Sheduer has first and foremost, he got drafted. Like me and D-Lou had a conversation, and I believe Hawk was on the phone too. It's like not everybody get the privilege to get drafted. Mm-hmm. So hey, you got to
I didn't get drafted.
And he got drafted pick 154 in the 5th round, which is ridiculous. But at the same time, it's like he got opportunity. Like, it's all about the situation. I think he got drafted to a pretty decent situation. He just got to compete. It's 5 quarterbacks over there, which is nasty. It's a nasty
5
quarterback.
quarterbacks?
5 quarterbacks over there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kenny Pickett. You got Deshaun
Out of
Watson.
there.
And I
Out of
think
there.
they may have drafted
Dylan
2 other
Gabriel.
quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel,
from
and
Oregon, he's
they
nice.
drafted another quarterback. So it's like
Mhm.
it is a good opportunity, but it's
Browns,
going to
they
take the
had- they
best.
had
It's
nothing
going
else
to
that
take the
they coulda
best of
picked?
them.
So they just complete like that where they got that they drafted that many quarterbacks.
And the Browns could have drafted. They could have drafted Travis Hunter and could have got a Sheduer Sanders as well too, which would have been
That's
super dope.
crazy. You absolutely right because they
Super
traded
dope.
up with the Jaguars, huh?
Yeah, they traded up with the Jags, but at the same
Wow.
time, it could be like I don't really know what it is, but I do think a lot of people they trade these picks up because they may have like, oh, boo,
They
I
need
just
more
gave
cap space.
Myles Garrett this big old contract. Boop, we already got Deshaun Watson on the back end of his contract, so boop, I might as well just give up a big top pick, but to get like a Travis Hunter, man, you tell me, I don't know about that, bro. That like I ain't gonna say like he's just guaranteed gonna be good, but throw a little 10 pounds on him.
He
Like,
gonna be good, bro.
Throw a
He
little
gonna play
10
corner, he
pounds
gonna
on
be
him, you
good.
know. But I'm gonna pass it to Hawk because he the real speed man right there. What would you do in that situation, Hawk? Would you have like I know without speaking on Sheduer, would you have gotten rid of the Travis Hunter pick, or you think like knowing in retrospect you could have got them 2 together?
It just,
No question.
I was gonna say, it depends on what the Browns are trying to build, what they coach look
Okay.
at as far as how they evaluate talent. Me
Okay.
personally, what they were picked 2
Yes.
in the draft, and they
Yes.
traded back, right, with the Jaguars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I would have drafted Travis Hunter.
That should have let us know that they wasn't about to get Sheduer.
Yeah,
Who-
I
who
don't know.
wasn't
I
getting
can't
Sheduer?
say. I can't
Browns.
say.
That should have let us know that.
Yeah,
At least
true.
with a quick pick, but they definitely got him eventually. But
Yeah,
somebody knew he was sliding clearly.
that is crazy thinking about it.
Delusion.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me think. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly.
How you feel about that Travis Hunter situation? I mean, Sheduer Sanders situation.
Yeah.
You asked the
Well,
question. How you feel about it?
I honestly feel like they was out to get him. Like you said it, like, was it really that many quarterbacks better than Sheduer Sanders last season? And to answer your question, no, it wasn't. We all saw college. We watched Dylan Gabriel. We watched all these dudes play Jackson Dart. Like, they were not. Cam Ward, I think, is a better quarterback, honestly. I watched Miami. I watched probably like 9 of their games this season, the games I could watch. Cam Ward, number 1 pick. He probably was the best quarterback in the draft.
Absolutely.
Sheduer, in my opinion, should have went 3, but I feel like they were out to get him. I don't think it was Deion's fault. I don't think it was Sheduer's fault. I just think they were out to prove a point. We've had other quarterbacks, father, son, and sons thing. We had other Hall of Fame quarterbacks do this in the past. Was it John Elway?
Yeah.
Avoid the certain draft picks. It's not the first time somebody done this. We had flashy quarterbacks like Menzel.
Yep.
What was the other boy name?
Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
They could talk crazy. They could be arrogant.
Get drunk. Get arrested.
Embezzle money. Sheduer Sanders is a God-fearing young man. He always get Lord things. So does Deion. Like, they handle their business. They just don't have a little flash with it. And that's wrong confidence. And that's what we do. We have confidence.
Yeah.
So I just think it was like, we don't like how Deion present himself. He too flashy. And I don't like the way this black dude is involved with his son's life. It's kind of annoying. He always going to be around. He got an input and something to say. So we saw it with LeVar Ball in a sense. It's annoying. They don't like that kind of shit. So that's my opinion.
To add to that too, though, is like before the social media era, like, and us, we all play football. We all grew up playing football. Football is a fraternity, but football is a very, very confident sport. Like, you literally running into people all fucking game. So if you don't think that you the guy to do that, like, you wouldn't play. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta like in football, we talk shit. Them mic'd up that y'all be hearing. Those guys are aware that they got mics on.
Right.
And a lot of times they tell their players, like, they tell their teammates, hey, Mike, I'm mic'd up. Hey, I'm mic'd up. The whole team know, because if you heard some of the conversations that people be having on the field, you think players is racist. You think players is all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's football, though. You get to actually go and hit the person that's talking some shit to you. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You got to have some confidence, man. But no way in the world was Sheduer Sanders a 5th round pick.
Hey.
And all I'm gonna say is,
Crazy.
I hope he make people pay for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
1983, John Elway was going to be the first overall pick by the Baltimore Colts. It's 83 before they changed their name, before they moved, actually. He had a preference to play in the West Coast. So rather than playing in the NFL and avoiding the draft, he decided to go play Major League Baseball instead. And then the Colts had to do like this blockbuster trade to get rid of that pick. And then the Broncos came in and drafted him later on.
Yeah. Now, what I will say is Caleb kind of did that too, though. Caleb won the Heisman, and he didn't declare for the draft because he didn't want to play for the Panthers or some shit, I think. And then turned around and still landed on the Bears. And I think his dad was saying something like that, like, my son, I ain't letting my son play on certain teams or whatever. So he stayed in college an extra year so he can avoid the draft too.
Student first, and athlete.
I don't know, man, because I think Caleb Williams, when he got drafted, he might have been like 24, 25 or something.
I'm going to read this while we're on the topic. 2004, the top prospect, Eli Manning, was drafted by the San Diego Chargers. He refused to play for them. Refused. And made it clear before the draft. And guess what? They still drafted him, and they had to trade that pick away.
So, I wonder what would have happened if Sheduer would have refused to play for them.
The grace. You just get the grace.
All right, let me ask y'all this question.
Grace without race.
you make really good points. You make really good points. What I was gonna say was, my question to you is this: do you think that, like, because it wasn't a strong quarterback class, and like I said, when I looked at the NFL, we look at the NFL roster, it's teams that can use quarterbacks, but it's like it's teams that need a lot of other stuff too, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So my question to you is this: when Deion Sanders does an interview, and I'm just asking for like y'all opinion, when Deion Sanders does an interview and he says, "I'm not letting my son play for certain teams," you know, I've been in there, I know what's going on, X, Y, and Z. If it's only 3 teams that potentially want his son, and you know, or need his son, right? And they feel like maybe who Deion is talking about. Do you think that could have affected his draft stock? Yeah. Like if the Browns, for instance, if the Browns knew that they really wanted him, right, in the first round, but they like, we know Deion don't want him to come to Cleveland, you know, because they talk, you know, however they communicate and all that. They probably like Deion probably said out loud, "Hey, my son ain't going to Cleveland." You know what I'm saying? He might have said it at one of the warm-ups or something, one of the workouts. So that's what I'm asking you. Do you think that him saying that could have potentially affected like their outlook on drafting him in the earlier rounds?
Yeah, I think
possibly. Yeah,
I think it's a combination. It ain't that. It's that with him like being able to kind of transcend how, or honestly, not even transcend, like just honestly just come in at a good time where college sports is transcending.
I said I like how he put that. I like how how he put that.
What?
You said you said it's not that. It's that and that. It's a, you know what I'm saying? Like it's part of it.
It's a culmination of things, and it's like it's him being able to come into college football and be a coach that comes into college football during the time college football is transcending, and college sport is transcending into a league where the players they get pretty much assets and they're able to walk away with just more than just a degree. Yeah. So it's like you're coming into that, you're empowering those players. The way that you push it is in an empowering way. And some people don't like how you coaching, and just like in some of the ways you're saying, like, I'm getting a whole new regime. Some people didn't like that. They don't like me coming with my own campaign, but it's like,
cameraman, you know, all that shit.
If I compare him to another one of my favorite coaches ever, like Pete Carroll comes in the building. It's Pete Carroll's building. I don't care who granddaddy built this building before him. Like, he coming in, this is my regime. This is my campaign, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my coaches. I'm going to recruit players of my interest. Like, it's just that college is different to where you can hit the portal now. So it's like they didn't like him saying that. And it's just they didn't like the type of player Deion was. Deion was very confident. Like, you can say cocky, whatever, but he was very confident. And I pushed that on all my people. And then when it comes to, you know, Sheduer doing the, you know, got the wrist up, him just doing certain things. And I'll be honest, I was going to ask the boys when Hawk was saying, almost interrupting him when I was talking, but I've never heard Sheduer Sanders say a bad word. I don't I don't follow
They
him
don't.
too tough, but I've never seen him say a bad word. And it's like, I mean, like I work in manufacturing, so I cuss like I exhale, like I curse like I yawn or something at work. And it's just like, I mean, like for him to be kind of an astute young dude, a God-fearing dude, you don't gotta believe in God, but you gotta understand like if somebody hold their morals close to them, whether they're Islam, Jewish, or whatever. And it's like, it's all that ball together, bro, is the reason why he didn't get drafted. It ain't just Sheduer and his
Yeah.
skills. It's just that people are able to hide behind him and not say it's another word. They can just say like, "Oh, I don't like his pocket presence. Oh, I don't like this." It's like the dude watches film. The dude studies. He's getting better and he's learning at a really good pace. If you're a real team that want to take advantage, which I've already said plenty of times, a lot of these NFL teams that just want to sell jerseys or sell whatever. They ain't even trying to sell tickets or even win nothing. So it's like it's clearly showing that it's still a lot of teams. Like I ain't saying like he's the out of him he equals winning, but it's like, hey, young astute dude, give him a try.
Hold on,
He'll
Ken. The
ball for
president
sure.
calling Donovan.
No, we good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought the eagle had landed. You know what I mean? I wasn't
No,
sure.
no. That was.
Nah,
Oh, you thought
Air
you
Force
thought that was
One.
little bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
add
no,
on
that's
to what
that's
you were
little bro.
saying, like I think too, man, Deion Sanders when he got into the league, from him being a professional baseball player, how he went from one game going to play another game from two different sports. I mean, when this dude when he became a coach, do y'all not? I mean, he got like a whole show, like a TV show on Amazon on Prime, and then it's like Coach Prime is on there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, did he make Prime for
He had a
Amazon or
strong BET
something?
back
Like,
then too.
Mm-hmm.
and so for him to have all of that, I mean, he got a lot of good things going on, but sometimes I think it really piggyback, and it's some people are fortunate to be able to get away with some stuff, but unfortunately, when it comes to ourselves, man, you got to play the game. Having a it's great to be confident. I think it's great to be cocky, but then we got to also remember what grace is too, and how to be grateful. And so, I think regardless of a draft or anything like that, I would just be happy just getting myself into the NFL or in a professional field. But we're talking about a guy who killed the NFL, who, did great things in baseball, is a great coach, changing so much stuff around. So why wouldn't he talk like
Great
that?
dad.
And then who's to say he comes in and then all of a sudden now he'll be an NFL coach, and look what he might do with an NFL team, But I think that's where it nailed down to, man.
Yeah.